In today's episode of Finest Homes, we're visiting a house where the owner's love of art has had a defining impact on interior design. Before the break, Gerard Nieuwoud shared their design approach in creating this eclectic contemporary home. Now I'm chatting to Monique House of Everard Reed Gallery about her role as an art curator. Monique, the art curation in this home is absolutely exceptional. But let's be honest, this wouldn't come too naturally for most homeowners. So what role do you play in achieving a look like this?
Well, this was quite an interesting project to be able to work on with the client. They first saw this home, who belonged to other clients of ours, and fell in love with the design and the art that was in it. And I think that really started a journey for them in finding beautiful pieces to put in their home that they could connect with. And I received a call from them and saying, we absolutely love this piece. How do we find this artist's work? How do we get to know them? And that really started the journey a couple of years ago in finding really significant and key pieces. And so the journey started, and we invited them through to the gallery to come through, have a look at some of the artworks that we had on display, the exhibitions that we were running. In some cases, we invited them through for previews to get top of the list and beautiful, beautiful pieces ahead of time, and slowly started developing a language and finding out what they loved, which pieces they connected with, which artists they connected with. And so started it from there and slowly took it step by step and built the collection.
That sounds like a beautiful journey. Now, for someone who's starting out, what would you suggest, that you go for something that you love versus something that will last the test of time?
Well, I think for any collector starting out, we would want you to love the piece that you're going to have in your home. I think for some people are really driven by a name or understanding that this might be a massive investment piece. None of us really know what's going to happen, but if you love a piece, every time you walk into that space, it will lighten your mood and lift your spirit. And it was something quite enjoyable about working with this client in this collection, is every piece has a significance. Every piece, there is a story or there's a memory that tracks back with them. And it was a delight for me to be able to be a part of that and help build that collection with them.
Well, you have to be absolutely blind not to find a favorite in this home, but are there any artworks that stand out for you?
I think it's always a tough question to ask a curator. We get to work with so many different artists on a daily basis, but some of the key works within this collection, which I've been really excited to be able to place, are pieces by Brett Murray, like Bart and Marge in Africa, some of Blessing's works, which are actually behind me, Lionel Smith's beautiful works, which actually help you move in and out of the home, so they are in spaces between courtyards, from front doors. Angus Taylor's two welcoming pieces. I think I could probably have a very long list of favorites within this home, but ultimately it's not about me, it's about the homeowner and what do they love and what pieces do they connect with. And I think if you walk around in this space, you'll definitely see there's a quirkiness, there's a vibrancy, they're not scared to have challenging pieces, but at the same time, color and boldness is something that they've always gone for within the works. Right the way from the Urbanski, as you walk in the front door, every room has a different mood and a different vibe as you come in, and really embraces the art within that collection.
Absolutely. What comes to mind when you mention that is just eclectic, right? And with such a style, how would you advise you combine the different sort of styles and aesthetics to ensure that it all works?
Well, I think knowing what you like and what you enjoy is really the first step. Some of the works within this collection were not acquired through our gallery space, but knowing the client and working with them on a week-by-week basis, we really got to chat about which spaces they lived in most, which pieces should hang on which walls. In the early stages, before any of the fittings were in this home, we were kind of walking through just the concrete frame of it, and we identified key spots within the home to say, we need to put a beautiful piece up here, or there needs to be a really significant piece out in the garden space, or as you walk in, you need to have something that goes pop, or just invites clients or friends or whoever's coming into your home into that space and say, this is who I am, this is my collection.
And describing the brief, what did the owner really emphasize that they really needed in their home?
Well, I think it changed over time. So the initial selection of pieces that they came through to look at were very clear in identifying, we love this work, can you help us source pieces by Lionel Smith? And so we started a journey of finding what was available. I introduced them to do studio visits with the artist to actually get to meet them, which is something we will do for our top collectors. Is allow them to come in, see the artist either in the gallery or in the studio space, and help them feel part of the process. And so, although the initial stages they may have said they only wanted to collect this artist, by the end of it, their passion was so great that there is an unending list of works that I think that they would love to add to this collection. And certainly each time they came through to the gallery or got to meet a different artist, they started building on that collection and buying or placing a new work for that collection.
And do you think this is a process or journey that any homeowner can go through, or is there a certain scale that fits this process?
Absolutely, it is a process that homeowners should embrace and welcome and engage. And we always invite them to come through and meet the team that I work with, come through to the gallery, start learning about the artists. We do walkabouts, we will hold private events. If you come through and start developing a feel for what works you like, it comes that much more naturally and that much easier for you to actually say, when you walk into a space, you get shown a portfolio or a catalogue, I love this. And why do I love it? Maybe you don't always know the answers, but certainly something attracts you to that piece. And so it will be a lot easier to make a decision once you have started the process of collecting and at least looking and being engaging with the artworks and with the artists.
In my eyes, this house has many breathtaking areas, but one where I could see myself spending most of my time is the spacious main bedroom, one with a view to die for. Joining me on the upstairs balcony, overlooking the Johannesburg skyline, is Tegan Kalassi of QHU.
My word, Tegan, I'm on my way to you. I'm sorry for how late Well, Tegan, I know there's a plethora of artworks in the interior, but for me, the real masterpiece is this beautiful view.
No, it's undeniable that this view is probably one of the best parts of this house, and you can't not capitalize off what is currently behind us, definitely.
And what I love most is that you've really optimized this space, just sprawling from the main bedroom. And tell us how you maximized on this space.
So what we wanted to do is we have completely opened up the main bedroom. We wanted to have the main bedroom be outside to an extent. We wanted to have the flow from inside and out almost indistinguishable. So when you're lying in bed, you're watching the sunset, you're outside, you're hearing the birds. So we created big spanses that just could be opened up and let the light, let the air, and let the view in.
Look, there's this tight integration between what's happening in the exterior and the interior. What were some of the challenges you faced in sort of incorporating what's happening outside with inside?
I wouldn't call it a challenge, it was more a fun experience to play with. What we wanted to do is, because there was such a massive art on the inside, we wanted to have the outside pay homage to what is on the inside. So we brought the art outside, we brought the texture and the fun and the beauty of the interior space, and we brought it outside, but we didn't want to take away from the view, so we kept it natural, we kept it within the same tonal range.
Yeah. And talk about some of the key elements in the exterior that really spoke to what happens in the interior.
So what we wanted to do is we wanted the inside of the house and the outside of the house to be a blurred line. So what we did is we took the color that we used inside, because often people will do a lighter color on the inside and a darker color on the outside, or vice versa. So we chose the same paint color just to follow it through. And then what we did do is on the balustrades and all the steel elements is we went 2 shades darker, just so we can define the architecture and actually make more of a focal point of it instead of trying to hide it.
And what's obviously the biggest focal point is the artwork, and I see
Yes.
that the incorporation of the sculptures really marries inside and outside together as well.
No, definitely. I mean, with such a beautiful space, I mean, you just fill it with more beautiful things.
Well, I have to say, Tegan, achieving a home like this is a true art, and I say cheers to you and your team for creating this beautiful masterpiece.
After the break, we take a closer look at the layering of a successful